Not gonna lie, I love that thing. All right, Carly, thank you. Meanwhile, look at this number. A record 14,000 pounds of deadly fentanyl were seized at our southern border alone this past fiscal year. That's enough lethal doses to kill every American 8 times over. Our next guest is in recovery from his substance abuse disorder and nearly losing his own daughter to heroin. And now he's helping fight the epidemic alongside the DEA's Red Ribbon Week, that is this week. And here with more is international recovery advocate Robert Kanter. Robert, good morning to you.
Good morning, Steve.
Thank you so much for talking about your addiction and what you feel like when your daughter was hooked on heroin a number of years ago, had she been alive, had she been using today, she'd probably be using fentanyl and might not be here.
No question about it. We're both in recovery from substance use disorder, and we are both thriving in our pathways to recovery. But there were some dark times. About 5 years ago, she was locked in an apartment doing a massive amount of drugs. I believe that if fentanyl had been in the picture at that time, I might have gotten that call from the coroner's office.
Yeah.
But just because I didn't doesn't mean I can't contribute to trying to reverse this public health emergency. And that's what I'm doing. I'm an entrepreneur by trade. This has become my life's work.
Because, you know, a lot of parents are terrified that they might not know whether or not their kids are popping drugs that could kill them.
Right.
You knew your daughter was using.
That's correct. It's a whole different ballgame now, Steve. We have the internet. The internet is anonymous, it's accessible, and it's enormous. You have the sale of these narcotics coated with emojis. I mean, it's really out of control. And a lot is being done with the DEA, but also really the best way I can put it is our borders are bleeding fentanyl right now.
Sure. And, you know, and as we look at the candy fentanyl that is being, we've talked about this for the last couple of weeks, and it's coming in around Halloween time. Are the people who put that together, are they trying to just get it in the country so that it looks like Whoppers or something like that? Or are they trying to appeal to kids who like candy?
Right. So I just did an interview on China Global Television on the proliferation of rainbow fentanyl. The chemicals are produced in China. The transnational criminals, the chemical brokers, are bringing those chemicals into the 2 main Mexican cartels, Jalisco New Generation and Sinaloa. They traffic it in. It's just an endless amount. So that's the first problem, is that the manufacturing of these pills using pill press machines, there's an endless amount. So it's not about how much they can produce. It's about how much they can traffic in.
Sure, absolutely. And the number, we've got a graphic, close to 70% of all drug overdose deaths right now are due to fentanyl. Robert, tell us a little bit about redribbon.org, because this is the week when kids can celebrate being sober.
Right. I'm glad you asked me that question, Steve. First of all, I want to put in a plug for the DEA and Ann Milgram, who was doing a phenomenal job of spearheading their campaign to reverse the epidemic. In 1985, a DEA agent was captured and tortured and murdered, and then there was a public outcry. And in 1988, the National Family Partnership sponsored the first Red Ribbon Week. And the DEA has jumped aboard in a big way, and every week from October 23rd to 31st since then, and there was a proclamation from Congress in 1988, we have celebrated Red Ribbon Week. And there will be people wearing red and people wearing ribbons, and you will have buildings and monuments that will be lit up, but it's really about engaging the communities, the students,
right,
the parents, law enforcement, and fostering an attitude, an anti-drug attitude of intolerance.
And that photograph we're looking at right there, I believe that was one of the winning photographs from. There's a contest where you can win $1,000 for your school if you take a picture of your school celebrating Red Ribbon Week. And what I like about the idea is, you know, so many people think, kids particularly, oh, if I want to be one of the cool guys, I got to smoke or I got to do drugs or something like this. This celebrates being sober.
Right, and it unglamorizes the use of substances, and that's very important, especially for young adults, and especially for the proliferation of rainbow fentanyl. One quick thing, Steve, we talked before the segment about nitazines, and that's part of what I want to do, is to disseminate this information to the public as an international recovery advocate. Nitazines is a synthetic opioid that is 10 times stronger than fentanyl.
Right.
I mean, wrap your head around that. It is coming up in some overdoses, a few actually in Tennessee. And
It's the next thing on the radar.
Well, I hope not. There's a small amount, but let's keep in front of that.
Absolutely. Robert Kanter, we thank you very much. If you'd like more information, go to redribbon.org. Find out how your school can get involved.